We begin with the chaos in Afghanistan as U.S. troops head back into the country to secure Kabul's main airport after thousands flooded the airport in a desperate attempt to flee the Taliban.
640 people, you see them there, crammed into this C-17 military plane, and tens of thousands more waiting to escape. Let's go back to Ian Pannell, who's there in Kabul with the very latest for us. Good morning, Ian.
Yeah, good morning, Robin. That's right. I mean, just heartbreaking, tragic scenes, incredible scenes from the airport. The airport is now reopened. We've been hearing flights pretty much since the middle of the night. Some of those chaotic scenes seem to have dissipated. Planes are landing and taking off without problems so far. But of course, there are still thousands and thousands of people desperate to get on those planes and get out of here as the Taliban solidify their control of the city and the country. This morning, the flight from Kabul in one stark image. A US military cargo plane reportedly carrying 640 men, women and children, all fleeing Afghanistan for their lives as the Taliban seizes control. The humanity and generosity of the crew as a child clutches a toy a pilot's given them. Desperate crowds had been rushing the runway, trying to get on board planes, even clinging to aircraft as they taxied for takeoff. This morning, rapid evacuations underway for Americans in Afghanistan. Nearly 3,500 troops now at the airport, resuming operations hours after being forced to stop flights to clear the tarmac. Reports of at least 7 deaths so far. The chaos left behind in this stricken country clear from the ground. And up above, these satellite images showing the massive crowds on the tarmac of Kabul airport. A US official saying that 15,000 people were removed from the runways just in order to resume operations. So far, the State Department says 2,000 people have been evacuated from Kabul, the US prioritizing American personnel and citizens. But thousands of Afghans, desperate for their turn, people who risk their lives to help the US mission. The Taliban now guarding the only way into the airport and so far letting only foreigners pass. The group declaring they're in full control, setting up checkpoints throughout the city. This is our first time out onto the streets of Kabul since the Taliban came to power. There are pedestrians, there are cars, people on bikes. The Taliban are out in force. You see them at different checkpoints around the city. But we've been driving for 5 minutes, and what's really noticeable is we haven't seen one woman out on the streets. Baha Mahar, who worked with US forces for 5 years, came to America in 2020 on a special visa. But he's afraid for what the future holds for his relatives now trapped in Afghanistan.
It's an uncertain situation. People doesn't understand how the Taliban will deal with them. So we are all waiting, and unfortunately it's waiting for the worst.
And Nobel Prize winner Malala Yousafzai, who was shot by the Taliban in Pakistan in 2012, calling on President Biden to now act.
President Biden has to take a bold step for the protection of the people of Afghanistan.
Well, just to pay a little bit of credit to some of the senior diplomats, Ambassador Ross Wilson, who's the American ambassador, tweeting this morning that reports that he left Kabul are not true. He's there. He's trying to help some of the people get out. We hear that the British ambassador was personally trying to process some of the visa applications. Meanwhile, the Taliban's issued a general amnesty, inviting women to take part in public life, saying they don't want women to be victims and instructing fighters not to enter homes. But of course, people don't believe them, not at the moment, and still there's a pervasive climate of fear here in Kabul. Amy.
All right, Ian Pannell there in Kabul for us. Thank you, Ian.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.